You may have noticed the brown signs as you've tried to navigate your way toward Lagoon, but if you haven't yet paid a visit to the Utah DWR Eccles Wildlife Education Center, you need to change that. Located just a mere 20 minutes from downtown Salt Lake City, the facility and trails at Farmington Bay are a wildlife oasis and a much-needed escape from the hustle and bustle of the Wasatch Front. Visitors can potentially see dozens of different bird species as they stroll the wetlands during a beautiful sunset, and who knows, it might just be the beginning of a new, lifelong hobby. This is Wild, a Utah Division of Wildlife Resources podcast. I'm your host, Faith Heaton Jolly, and this is episode 19, Birdwatching at the Wildlife Center. Welcome back to Wild. I am excited today to be here with Billy Fenimore. He is our Eccles Wildlife Education Center site coordinator. Say that 5 times fast. And it's fun. I'm actually here at the Eccles Wildlife Education Center. It's a beautiful day. We can see right out the window right now. You can see the bay and there's always birds. It's just a beautiful location. So this is kind of a fun episode that we're on site here, getting to enjoy and experience the Eccles Center. And as you can probably tell, we're once again wearing masks. So that's why we're a little muffled, breathing hard. So bear with us. So yeah, Billy, just kind of tell us a little bit about how long you've been here working for the division and what it is exactly that you do.
I've been with the division now going on 3 years. I've had a relationship with the division wearing a different hat for many years, working parallel with them on education and conservation and so forth. I feel that I finally was adopted and a few years ago and really have been welcomed with open arms. And we've had some past directors that have been great friends and mentors, Greg Sheehan, Mike Falks, and today Rory Reynolds. And everyone's been very supportive. We have a great team out here at the Education Center, so I'm excited to be here. But we've been open now, like I said, going on about 3 years.
I was going to say, they mainly just wanted to get you in the brown uniform. They're like, you do great work, so let's just, you put
There's
on
a lot
those
of brown
pants.
in the closet now, yes.
Yes. No, that's awesome. And you have been pretty instrumental in this whole project. So let's kind of talk about how the Wildlife Education Center came about.
So the late Robert Hassenjäger had a vision many years ago to have a gathering place for the community to enjoy and learn about wildlife, the natural world. Fast forward now to just a few years back, and we've had some great private donations from the Eccles family and the Skaggs family, and through our sportsman dollars, conservation groups, and through state legislature, we were able to pull those monies together and create this grand facility. So today we have a beautiful conservation hall, we have an educational classroom, a beautiful auditorium, so we can have some community gatherings and do some education at those times. And our wetland manager's office is also located on the site.
Okay, awesome. And it is kind of a cool facility. How many buildings do we have here?
So we have 4 buildings: the education center, the classroom, the auditorium, and the wetland manager's office.
Okay. And it is cool. I mean, like I'd mentioned, all of them are designed to kind of look out over the bay. And so you can see the beautiful reserve we have here. They all have big windows.
So as you approach and come into the drive, as you're looking out to Farmington Bay, our rooftops are grass covered. So you don't even notice the buildings, the structures and so forth. So it seems very natural and welcoming and inviting. So that was one of the ideas that the good folks before me had a vision. So it blended in with the wetlands, and it also made maybe the wildlife feel a little bit more comfortable too.
Totally. And it is, yeah. It's a beautiful structure. Like you said, you don't even notice it as you're coming in. You've kind of touched on what is the main purpose of this facility?
So the main purpose is, I feel, connecting our communities with the natural world, our wildlife, our wetlands, understanding the gateway to the Great Salt Lake. So it's a community gathering spot for learning about our natural world. And it's such a neat spot because we are just less than a mile away from, a couple million people at our footstep and coming in and wanting to learn and so forth like that.
It is amazing. I mean, I live pretty close to downtown Salt Lake, and it's a 25-minute drive. It's right here in the Wasatch Front. Like, it's so close to get here and access some wildlife.
It is. It's easy to be able to get out and just get out of the car and start walking our nature trails, or come down into the center and talk to any of us, our staff, or volunteers.
You guys are all very knowledgeable about what there is to see here. You've touched on that. Kind of what can people do here when they come visit? Like, what can they kind of expect?
Yeah, so one of the things is when they kind of come into the conservation hall, kind of our greeting area, they get the chance to visit with our volunteers and myself, and we can share with them a little bit about what the wetlands is. And we have 2 great wetland displays here that kind of show a lot of taxidermied waterfowl mounts, some upland game species. So folks maybe that aren't able to get out there and see those birds up close have a chance now to come into the conservation hall and experience these birds a little bit closer.
Yeah.
And to be able to identify these birds a little bit more and be able to now ask a lot of questions. And we're here close by to be able to help answer those. As well as we also are a hub for our Project Wild. And Project Wild is an environmental education program that emphasizes wildlife. So Nikayla Haig, she helps to conduct that training. So what we do is we help to train teachers and help them understand what Project Wild is about, and then they can continue that education into the classroom. And then in the future come out and do self-guided field trips into the wetlands.
Oh, that's awesome. So they can teach their students about it and then come experience it hands-on.
Definitely.
Do some hiking on the trails.
Yep.
Okay.
And as Corona gets past us, I hope, we will get back to doing our school guided field trips where the schools will come out and our volunteers and our staff will help conduct these field trips with the children that come out to visit. And that's a fun time, a loud time. So, but it's a good time. It is.
Herding all the little kindergartners around looking at birds. Yeah. And talk about the trail system here. How many trails? Kind of when are they open?
We have 2 trail systems. One that's about a 1.5 mile loop that goes over the wetlands via a boardwalk. It crosses over Farmington Creek. So we have a really neat little riparian wetland area where folks can see waterfowl, a variety of songbirds. It's fairly flat, so it's easy to navigate. And then we have a trail system that's just to our west that marries into the Buffalo Ranches, the Farmington City Trail System. And that continues for another 3, 4, 5 miles to the northwest.
Okay.
And it just gives a great opportunity for folks to get involved and get outdoors.
Is it open seasonally? Is it open year-round?
So we're open year-round. Our trails, you can come out any day of the week and access the trails and walk them. But our hours of operation now tentatively are Tuesday through Friday, and we're open 10 to 2:30. And Saturday, the buildings are open 10 to 1, and the buildings are closed Sunday and Monday.
Okay, and that's just the buildings, though. They can
just
still
the buildings,
access
but
the trails.
The trails you can access and so forth, and enjoy some beautiful sunrises, sunsets, and some of the amazing birds that we have.
Awesome. And I know where it is kind of a nature reserve area. Can people bring their dogs if they want to walk them? Bikes? How does that work?
So we don't allow bikes out onto our trail systems, just so the trails don't get rutted and so forth.
Sure.
We want to make sure that people can be safe. And dogs are allowed on the waterfowl management area during specific times, and it's real important that they are on a leash so we can enjoy the wetland in harmony with everybody.
As people are walking the trails, as they're coming out to learn about some of the different species, talk about what types of birds people can see here during each of the different seasons.
Yeah, what's really neat about the wetlands, it's kind of like a hotel. We have folks that are checking in and folks that are checking out. And our birds do that through migration. So a lot of times we'll see birds that are coming in the spring and the summer, and then they'll take off come fall and winter. So it's always revolving door of birds that we'll see.
Totally.
So in the springtime and summertime is a great time to be out here. One, the weather's a little bit warmer and folks can get out. But you get the chance to see birds setting up territories. A lot of bird song is going on, so you can come out here and relax and hear the symphony of bird song, and birds will begin to nest, and then you'll have the opportunity to see young songbirds, young sandhill cranes. We have a great blue heron rookery that's right here on the property, and it's really a neat gathering place for the birds and our people. The community, they come out, and about the start of February, our great blue herons the males come first to select a spot on our artificial heron rookery.
And is that what you see? It's like the poles
Yep.
with the built platforms
with
and
the
stuff?
help of of Rocky Mountain Power years ago, they were able to set up those telephone poles and set up these artificial nesting platforms. And now the great blue herons come back year after year, and they're able to use that in their raised platforms so that they're off the ground. Predators can't get to them, and they're off at a safe enough distance that where we can get close enough and still enjoy them without interfering with them, setting up territory or raising young. So they'll set up shop. The males set up the nest, and if everything's good and the female's happy with it, they'll breed and lay about maybe 2 to 7 eggs.
Oh, wow.
And it takes about maybe 25 to 30 days for incubation. And then the young will fledge maybe 65 to 90 days after that. So they spend a lot of time there at the rookery. So we have a lot of folks that are really fans of that. And they'll kind of write down dates and times of what they see and come down and share it with us. So it's really a great thing for folks to come out and experience.
Well, and like you said, I mean, it's really not that far from the building. So as you're coming up, like you can see the nests and the poles and
it
the
is.
birds
And
in there.
in fact, we're going to be completing an observation platform just south of our conservation hall. So you'll be able to get on that platform, and we'll have spotting scopes set up that you'll be able to enjoy and view the heron rookery just right from the building.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you said they're usually nesting like springtime?
Yep, the start of February is when we'll see the male show up. About, mid-May, early June, young will have fledged and things will get quiet, and then they'll use the rookery more as a roost.
Okay. I was about to say, because when I mean, just coming up today, there are birds on there right now.
Yeah, quite a few. All the platforms are being used now. So we have about maybe 20 or so pair of herons that are nesting there, and then you multiply that by maybe 3 to 5 young, so we'll have quite a few birds.
Gotcha.
Going back out into the wetlands.
That's awesome. What are some other species that people can expect to see, and kind of where are some of the best places?
So I think another highlight bird is our bald eagle.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in the winter season, starting about November and so forth. As things start to freeze, a hard freeze way up north, up into Canada, Alaska, and so forth like that, we'll start to see birds do what we call more of a short distance migration. So our bald eagles will come down. As things get frozen up north, they need open water to be able to find fish, waterfowl, which they prey upon, but they'll come down and at our latitude and spend the winter with us because we tend to have open water, and some of the freshwater streams that kind of come through our impoundments will stay open. So the eagles have now learned year after year that they can count on seeing maybe carp and so forth like that, and ducks, and be able to prey upon them. But it's really neat because these bald eagles now are only feet from us. So the dike systems, the road systems that we have going through Farmington Bay, you can come out in that fall and winter season and be able to view bald eagles within about maybe 10 to 15 yards from the warmth of your car.
And I actually got to enjoy that. I came and said hi to you guys this last February, and I came out with my family just on a Saturday, and it is amazing how close you are to those bald eagles. I mean, we also brought a spotting scope because some of them are a little farther out, but it's fun to take pictures, and you can see them eating fish, right on the ice.
It is. It's a testament to conservation and really understand what our grand biologists have done to help bring this bird back to the numbers where it's at now, not being endangered. And so it's an incredible story.
And it is exciting just to be able to see them. Even if you've seen bald eagles before, it's cool. Every time you get to see them, it is kind of a rush.
Yeah, eagles and owls, it seems like that's what kind of hook people into birding, and that's a term, hook bird, where folks get hooked into birding, and that's kind of what they call maybe their hook bird or spark bird, something that started them into this life journey of birding.
Passion of bird watching and stuff. Yeah. And it is fun with the Eagle event too. You can pick up a little commemorative pin from the center here.
Yep, we have eagle pins each year. They're designed, and we can give those out to the public. And again, just coming into the conservation hall, being able to ask questions. Our volunteers, our staff, we go out to the wetlands, so we kind of see what's going on that day and kind of report back to the center. And as folks, the public, come in, we can kind of share with them where they want to go to be able to view those birds. And then we also have spotting scopes that we have here on site that folks can use, and then we clean and sanitize them after each use. So it really gives everybody that opportunity. Maybe that doesn't have that optical equipment to be able to see those birds. We can provide it for them.
Totally.
Give them that opportunity.
It's a great service and a great experience. I have a friend that's been doing it every year since she was little. Her and her dad come out and they look at the eagles every February and get one of those pins. And it is just kind of a fun tradition.
No, we get phone calls. Hey, are your pins there? So we get folks that are collecting them. So
yeah. It is really fun. What are some other types of events, that we hold out here?
Yeah, so we'll have kind of an eagle month, and then we'll also have a tundra swan viewing month, also where tundra swans, they kind of in the winter season are there in the southern California coast, and they'll kind of come through in migration in the spring and spend the springtime with us as they're heading back up north to nest. And tundra swans are beautiful white birds with long necks, giant wingspans, and they have a whistling type call. And it's another bird that's just very, very intriguing to watch and beautiful, majestic like our eagles. And they really rely on our Farmington Bay waterfowl management area because we have sago pondweed. That's a vital resource that our wetland managers help to grow because those birds have to, in migration, fatten up and build up their fat reserves, kind of like going on a long trip.
Sure.
We stop at a rest area. Hey, let's have a snack. The kids get
our
out.
jerky.
Everybody's out. That's right. And the birds do the same thing in migration. So these swans are putting on that weight and so forth. And it just provides us, again, a neat opportunity to be able to see these birds up close before they start heading back up north. And then again, fall, reverse migration happens. Birds are coming back down again to winter there on the southern coast of California. So it's really a neat thing. Like I said, it's just a revolving door. Everybody's coming in and kind of leaving, coming back and visiting. And we do have some resident birds that do hang out. We have a variety of ducks, cinnamon teal nest out here. We'll have widgeon, a few pintail. So it's really neat. Another group of birds are shorebirds.
Okay.
That come through, and that avocets, black-necked stilts are really reliant on coming out to Farmington Bay and again fattening up and nesting out here. So they provide some great viewing opportunities and a bird that I enjoy watching too.
That's so fun, yeah. And kind of speaking of that, since you've been working here, what has been kind of one of your favorite experiences here at the center?
For me, I think the experiences that I have that are really special to me are always ongoing, and it's making that connection with our community and all things wild. And I think being able to share my passion, my love for birds, for all wildlife, and sharing that with them, and then seeing them come back, I think is really cool. Where they're saying, hey, Billy, you know what we saw. You said we'd go out here and see this, and you know what we did. And then they go out on their own, and they're doing their own thing and coming back and sharing new things with me, and now I might go check out what they've seen. So I think making that connection is really special for me. It's what I learned from my father. So it's something I enjoy.
I love that. And it's cool that you get to pass along that love of wildlife to people and vice versa. And it kind of becomes this lifelong journey and hobby.
It is. And sometimes we just need a little guidance. And I had that with my dad. And I was fortunate at an early age for him to share that love, that passion. And that's something I want to do for others. Sometimes we just don't, the hustle and bustle, we don't make that time.
Sure.
And that's why I enjoy being out here. It's just a few minutes away from the house. Come out here and people are amazed at what we have. The amazing wetland managers, our Jason Jones and Dave England, have created, as well as the other managers throughout the state. It's just a neat area. I'm blessed to be out here, and I think now I want to just share that love, that passion that was taught to me to everyone else.
That's awesome. You do have a great office. I was enjoying the views today, just coming out here. I'm like, this would be a great view every day to see out your window. So what are some basic recommendations that you would offer to someone that's wanting to get into bird watching?
Yeah, one would be getting in touch with maybe your local Audubon group.
Okay.
For us, up in Ogden, Wasatch Audubon. South of us, Utah County Birders. You can jump onto Facebook and find some of these birding groups and so forth. You can also come down and talk to us, and we can share, other information. And one of the neatest things, I think, is getting out into your backyard. And learning more of your common birds. You don't have to learn all of them. We have close to 1,000 birds here in North America, but learning maybe those 1, 2, or 3, a black-capped chickadee, what that sound is, that size, and, learning about size and shape, the habitat, and learning our American goldfish, and learning a few of the songs. And that is what makes it fun. Don't try to cram it all in, because
Sure.
it can be a little depressing and difficult. Birding, I learn something every day about birds, and that's the neat thing. I think having that opportunity, and I can't know enough. And so it's something to enjoy. It can be competitive for some folks, But for me, I think I was there, but now I sit back, enjoy it, relax, and life's ruts, these birds can kind of lift me out of it, and bring me into a good place. And I think that's what incredible thing that birds can do, getting outdoors.
Totally.
Yeah.
What's a good resource if somebody does, kind of want to get into identifying birds that they're seeing in their backyard at their bird feed or whatever? Where would you recommend they go online to learn more about those?
One of the things that you can do is go to Cornell Bird Lab of Ornithology, and they got a great website that you can explore and hear bird call, see bird photos, learn about habitat. So some of those kind of websites that are bird-based like that. Also your Facebook groups. There's quite a few groups out there that are for beginners, and no question is too silly. That's the truth. So you can feel very comfortable and confident, and there's some great welcoming groups out there. And like I said, getting with your local Audubon group, they're there to help teach, and they're excited when someone shows an interest and so forth like that. And that's what we want to create here, a welcoming atmosphere for everyone to come out here and learn about everything wild.
That's awesome. I was going to say, I feel like this is a good place to start, is come out, talk to our experts here, learn about some of the different birds you'll see and learn to identify them. And I've always enjoyed my visits out here with you guys too. You guys are a great resource. So yeah, thanks for taking a minute to kind of explain this. For those of you that may have missed it, we also did a previous episode about some of our different birds of prey here locally. So you can go check that out, learn about some of those different species as well. And as always, if you haven't yet, we'd love if you could subscribe to the Wild Podcast. We release a new episode on the third Tuesday of each month. So we hope that you'll join us next month for some more wildlife stories.